Sheila, Executive Director, TI Kenya. What next? What do we do from here?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Eric. And it's interesting listening to everyone, all the observations, and even the message of hope from Advocate Evans Ogada. Thank you very much for giving us hope. And I still believe, yes, that as I said, and I think even Karanja Matindi has said, that the Constitution is very resilient. And for me, for as long as we have the Constitution, that means that as it rightly says under Article 1, all sovereign power belongs to the people of Kenya. And so for me, in terms of the way forward, yes, now that the National Assembly, of course, fails to overturn the Public Appointments Committee's approval of the individuals who I think Kenyans had raised issues and concerns on, including those who were in breach of, the leadership and integrity tenets. Of course, we feel that the Parliament has, basically abrogated, their oath to uphold and defend the Constitution, particularly provisions of Chapter 6. And I've seen I heard your announcement, Eric, that I think the swearing in is tomorrow at 9 a.m. Well, we still have exactly 12 hours to call upon the president not to proceed with it and do the formal appointment of those with issues. But I think it's important, especially because it's the same president who 2 weeks ago, as he was appointing, the same statement that made this, I think, the chunk of appointments, gave a raft of anti-corruption measures that he was going to undertake to improve the fight against corruption. One including, he made proposals in regard to amendments to the Evidence Act, the Penal Code, to expedite the hearing and determination and even the investigation and prosecution of corruption cases. He talked about the need to embed whistleblower protection provisions in the Witness Protection Act. He talked about the need to pass a solid conflict of interest law. But then the question then again was, but with these commitments that you're saying in regard to the fight against corruption, why are you still giving us people who are tainted, people who have questions? And why can't you just simply allow these people to go through the full course of the criminal justice system before appointing them? There are many other people who can do the job. We are not saying that they're guilty because, again, because of natural justice principles, you're presumed innocent until proven guilty. But for such office, you need very high threshold for leadership and integrity, and it's proper that you just let these people be cleared properly before you appoint them. I mean, if they're cleared, well and good. So I think that is a bit disappointing, and we still must insist that, the leadership and integrity provisions are not just there to make our constitution, or they're not ornamental. They're there for a reason. And I think as Kenyans, as someone has said, we have recourse, we have an opportunity to challenge this vetting process, particularly looking at issues in regard to Chapter 6. Especially because, as you said, the committee seems to have ignored the submissions made by the members of the public through the memoranda, that was submitted, information on specific nominees with issues. And there's an opportunity to question and challenge even that process of public participation. We've talked about the time that has been given, how much time were people given to give their submissions, what happened to their submissions, were they included in the same manner that the finance bill was challenged, the finance bill of 2023. If you look at the judgment, one of the issues is that question around public participation, the chief public participation. So this is another a matter that is also touching on issues around public participation. On way forward on the wealth declarations, as I said earlier, now the Public Officers Ethics Act requires that public officers within 30 days after leaving service are required to file declarations to give the current state of their status of their income, their assets, their liabilities. So we expect that the previous former cabinet secretaries by now should have filed their status of income, assets, and liabilities as they left office. I think they were fired on was it the 11th of August thereabout? So it's almost 30 days. By now they should be filing to the Public Service Commission as they left office what was their current status, but this needs to be verified. The challenge is these are filed, they're put in an envelope, no one really checks that information until now someone is coming for this vetting process, and then we hear them give certain figures.
Sheila,
they actually need to be verified, and we need now Those are some of the things that we need to check. And for me, one of the reforms that we need to make in the wealth declaration system is include a process of verification, so that we are able to check against any inflated or underdeclared assets or income.